Good morning. Welcome to Time in His Word. Matthew, the 5th chapter, verse 14 says this: You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden. What's that mean? You are the light of the world. I've wrestled with this scripture for some time. Every time I read it, I keep thinking of the same thing. What is meant by you are the light of the world? Over the years, I've read it, I've looked at it and thought of different things. I've kind of come to the conclusion it's talking about me as an individual, or us as an individual, what we're doing with what little bit of time we have here on earth. What are we doing to make a difference in people's lives, those that we touch directly and indirectly? I could be wrong with the way I'm looking at it. I don't know, but I don't think so. I think it's a good question. You are the light of the world. I remember a number of years back that the entertainer Michael Jackson and Lionel Richie, a whole host of them, they got together and they sang some song. I think it was titled "You Are the Light of the World" or something like that. If I remember right, it was to raise awareness, or it was a charity thing. But I just remember all these entertainers and they're singing this song, and I never did quite get what they were getting at. But it's like some things you see, you don't understand, but you think about it from time to time, trying to figure out what they were doing or what their purpose was. And that's how this passage is with me, this verse 14. You are the light of the world. What's that mean? Well, if I'm thinking of it as what it means if I do with my time here, then I'm thinking, if what I'm doing, is that making a positive or a negative impact on people in and around me? I pray that it's positive, but at the same time, we have no way of judging or knowing what we're doing is making a positive or a negative impact. So it's one of them questions, I guess you could say, that you can never really answer. And when it does get answered, you're not here to hear the answer. You've went on. You've passed away. You've went on. And all that's left is your legacy. Well, then that brings up another question. What's your legacy? If I'm having trouble with trying to figure out you are the light of the world, then I equally have trouble with what kind of legacy are you leaving? Because these are things that, to me, you can't judge or see now. Those are things that appear after you've passed on and the impact you've had in people's lives. Or you might see something here or there that you do indirectly or directly affect somebody, but the overall scheme of things, we don't know. And it goes on to say in verse 15 and 16, it says, Nor does anyone light a lamp and put it under a basket, but on the lampstand, and it gives light to all who are in the house. Verse 16, Let your light shine before men in such a way that they may see your good works and glorify your Father who is in heaven. So again, it's back to that original question. What does it mean? You are the light of the world. And verse 16 is telling us, let your light shine before men in such a way that they may see your good works. But then, at the same time, we don't want to be conceited about what we're doing. We don't want to be boastful or anything like that. So it's kind of one of those questions to me that you can't really answer, like I said before. But then you can kind of look back and see the things you've done in the past as to whether they were positive or negative. But going forward, you don't know. You hope or pray that what you're doing has a strong impact and is helping people in one way or the other, but you don't really know. So I guess it's one of those deals, where Paul talks about running the race. You just press on running the race that's laid out ahead of you, praying that your actions and the things you do directly and indirectly for people and to people are positive. Kind of some deep thoughts for a Monday morning. Of course, I started at 7 o'clock last night, so I got a little bit of a nap. But yeah, it's kind of why I'm late getting this going. But then at the same time, like I said, I ran across the first part of 14. You are the light of the world. Think about that today. What's that mean to you, and how do you go about in your daily routine to have your quote unquote light shine before men, so that they see the good works and that you're doing that glorifies your Father in heaven? Think about that. Think about the things you do, the people, the way you interact with people. Do you feel you're having a positive impact, or are you kind of wondering if you have a positive impact, or you don't really know? I think if we don't really know, or we're not for sure, those are things we can work on to get to that point where we feel like we're having a positive impact. But even if you're doing something that you think is having a positive impact, there might be that doubt or that unsureness. You're being kind of unsure whether it's affecting people or not in the way that you're hoping that it is. It's just one of them deals, like I've done before. You know, how do you answer a question that seems to be unanswerable, that doesn't seem to have an answer to it? Let your light shine before men in such a way that they may see your good works and glorify your Father who is in heaven.